I want to pick your brain a little bit on this whole Trump phenomena. I would never have guessed this in 2012. Honestly, I would have never have guessed this. But I think that he's filling a role that, can you imagine if you had like a consistent conservative record candidate out there saying these things? They would be unbeatable.
Well, exactly. The whole thing about Trump, Dana, is exactly what you said. He's saying the things that we aren't supposed to say. He's saying the forbidden things. We're not supposed to be talking about illegal immigration. That gets off the message. But, you don't tell the voters what the message is. The voters tell you what the message is. And as fussy as Lindsey Graham gets about things, he doesn't get to choose what concerns me. I grew up near San Francisco, Dana, and when illegal aliens who should have been deported 5 times ago and 7 felonies ago murder people out on the streets of the city I grew up near, well, that bothers me, and I don't care if it makes Lindsey Graham upset.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be talking about this report that discusses sanctuary cities. Kurt, 276 sanctuary cities, and because the definition differs as to who gets to call themselves somehow a sanctuary city and who doesn't, it could actually be 300 or over technical sanctuary cities. Thousands, over 8,000 illegal offenders free in just 8 months for 17,000 total. This is a massive problem.
Oh, it's a disaster. And of course, the answer, it's really our fault because we won't allow immigration reform to create a bunch of new laws that Obama and the liberals will then ignore because they're ignoring the ones now.
That's a great point.
It's a great scam. Pass more laws when we're not paying attention to the ones now, because we'll totally pay you for the Hamburger Tuesday and we'll enforce those laws.
Yeah.
No dice.
No, absolutely. I mean, and obviously, this is all, do you really think, and I think for the first time, I really feel like the media has been tricked into talking about illegal entry. I really do. I think that they jumped in and they were like, oh my gosh, Donald Trump, let's make Republicans look like jackwagons. And then it kind of backfired on them. What do you think about this?
It's super backfired, Dana, and I don't think it's just the Republicans who are up in arms about this. I think there are a lot of Democrats out there who don't like their families being murdered by people who should have been deported. Concern over illegal immigration is not limited to just conservatives or Republicans or even Democrats. It crosses party lines, and I think Hillary's going to find this is more of a problem than she thinks. And once the mainstream media realizes that this isn't just an anchor around the necks of the Republicans, but it's a problem for Hillary too, I think we're going to see the coverage on the Donald ease up a little. But until then, I think he's as stunned as the rest of us that he's getting so much play. And I think he's having a great time. I wouldn't vote for him at gunpoint, but I'm highly amused by what's going on. And frankly, it couldn't happen to a nicer bunch. Take that, establishment.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Well, is this some of the new rules that you were talking about in your latest piece? It's time for conservatives to play by new rules. It seemed a little bit like you were being a little tongue-in-cheek.
What? Oh no, not me, Dana.
Not you, never.
Well, look, I'm not for unilateral disarmament by any means. And when somebody else is playing by one set of rules, I don't expect to play by another. I learned at Fort Benning, the guy who fights fair in battle is the guy who takes his people home in bags. Mm-hmm. I don't play that game. If you want to rock and roll, well, this is the way it's got to be. We have a president who selectively enforces laws, who doesn't prosecute his friends, but turns the law enforcement community upon his political enemies. We have a Justice Department that has no justice, an education department that's out there hassling people with religious values, people with traditional values. And I think if we're going to start using, if it's okay, if it's the new rules are that the government is to be turned on your political opponents, I say let's do it ourselves. Why not? What's the moral problem with it, Dana? They're doing it.